All right, so I've posted quite a few videos of my kids and I shooting on YouTube, and I continually get asked the question, how do you get your kids into shooting? How are you training them? How are you making sure they're prepared and they're safe? And what methods did you use, and how did you train them? And I'm answering everybody as best I can. It, I need to put this video out so I can just point everybody here. And this is the way I do it. I'm not a certified trainer. I'm a dad. I have a military background. So everybody that's been through the military understands, it's just by the numbers, by the numbers, by the numbers. If you screw up, you get smacked in the back of the head. I didn't smack my kids on the back of the head, but I did let them know when they did something wrong, but I also let them experience things and make their mistakes so we can talk about it. So this is going to be, these are going to be longer videos. This first one is just going to let you know what's going on, what you can expect from the series. It's probably going to be 5 different videos, just so it's not really, really long. This is just the way I do it, my methodology. It works for us. We are fortunate enough, we have several ranges around us, being in Kentucky, and the big outdoor range, which is relatively close. It's 30, 40 minutes away, so we have easy access to that. If this is not going to work for somebody who lives downtown Chicago, where, the city government just doesn't want you to be able to train with your gun. You can't do that. You're going to have to modify things a little bit, okay? So take what I give you here, adjust it for your situation, and you'll be okay. All right, so let's get going. This first one, it's titled Getting Kids into Competition Shooting, and again, this is just going to be the series overview, but it really could apply to all new shooters, adult new shooters, friends, family. Maybe they don't understand what it is that you do. What do we do? Why do we love it so much? But this is just targeting kids and how I trained my kids, okay? So first, the purpose of this video, again, it's kids or adult new shooters. In the firearm community, we all know everybody's waiting for us to screw up. So in order to prevent screw-ups, safety, 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 safety. Everything we do is going to revolve around safety. There's going to be a big focus in one of the series about safety and how to instill that base, that safety-oriented base. But just remember, every time we go somewhere, every time we do something, it's always about safety. Sorry for my dog in the background. He's a punk. All right, so the safety focused, of course, it's going to be at the forefront of our brains. We're dealing with kids, we're dealing with new shooters. They don't quite understand all the rules and all the nuances of how they, people drop the guns all the time thinking down is a safe thing. If they don't have trigger discipline with their finger, they can shoot their foot. We all laugh at that notion, but it happens. It happens. It really happens. So safety first. All right, enough about safety. Progressing the difficulty, all right? You want to build a base of knowledge and build upon it, okay? You don't want to take a brand new shooter, hey, come on, let's go to USPSA and here's 17 mags to put on your belt and a $16,000 gun, and let's go shoot this 60-round stage. I just throwing numbers out there. I have no idea. I'm a complete USPSA noob. I'm just getting into it now. So that would be bad, okay? That would be very, very bad. That's not going to make for a very good first shooting experience for these little people or new shooters. So we want to build a nice, easy base and a solid ground for us to build upon and really start ramping up that difficulty as their skill set starts to develop. Tools of the trade. We're going to cover some tools. Dummy rounds, the gun itself, some holsters like Blade Tech, they actually come with a dummy barrel, a little yellow piece of plastic that's got the the nice hood on it and everything so that it fits inside your gun perfectly. Those are really nice for at-home training. A video camera of some kind. Most people have a smartphone. It includes a video camera. It's really, really helpful. I can't stress this enough. You can't know what you're doing wrong unless you know what you're doing wrong. You have to be able to see what you're doing wrong. You have to be able to measure what you're doing right so that you can continue to do what's right and fix what you're doing wrong, okay? That's the purpose why I first started recording my videos, is so that I could see what my body was doing, what my finger was doing, because when I'm out there shooting, I'm thinking about the front sight, I'm thinking about the targets, I'm thinking about making sure I don't point the gun at the wrong direction, that kind of stuff, okay? Record what you're doing so you can fix it. If you're training, record your students so that you can show them and they can see for themselves. It's different when they see themselves do something wrong than when you tell them you're doing something wrong. You know, we're all pros, right? We've been doing this for years. You know, my grandpa taught me when I was 5, I don't jerk the trigger, and then you record and all of a sudden, yep, you're jerking the trigger. You can blatantly see you're jerking the trigger. So record those things, okay? We'll go over some more of that later. Veteran shooters, I really hope you don't skip ahead, but if you want to skip directly to the competition part, that's probably going to be in part 4, all right? What you as a trainer or as a parent teaching your kid, a trainer teaching a friend, family member, what you need to understand is you're not Mr. Joe Cool, Mrs. Joe Cool. Lose your freaking ego. Tactical stuff, you're not an operator in this moment. It has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not an operator is good training or not. You're talking about a new shooter. Who's your audience? Lose your ego. You're not trying to show off. This is about the student, not about you. Tactical crap has no business being here. Let them figure out if they want to be tactical later. Assume nothing, okay? The basic stuff we take for granted and we understand, they don't. They're little people or they're brand new shooters that may have never shot a gun before in their life. They may have never held a gun in their life. Assume nothing, okay? Everything else that we do from here on out, if you haven't experienced it yourself, you need to go put yourself in that situation. If you've never used a competition timer and felt that adrenaline rush and your loss of IQ as soon as that buzzer goes off, you can't teach anybody how to prepare for that, what to experience, how to think about things, okay? You need to experience for yourself before you try to train your child or before you try to train any other kind of new shooter. You have to know what your experience was before you can share it with them, okay? Stay calm. Stick to standards, not your opinion. I know sometimes it's hard for us to differentiate our opinions from industry facts and industry standards, but do your best to leave your opinions out of it and just stick to the facts. Your trainer, and even whether it's a child or a new shooter, will respond much better that way, okay? No one cares about when you were a kid. Well, the way we did it when I was a kid, no one cares. No one cares. The way that you and I shot when we were a kid, it can't fly today. The environment in the firearms industry and in America will not allow things to fly the way it was when we were a kid. It's the good old days. It doesn't exist anymore. We have to deal with today. Stick to the standards, all right? Tell your stories once they're comfortable holding a gun, once they're comfortable running and gunning. Then you guys can sit together and talk about when I was a kid. Until then, no one cares. Leave it out of the training. And of course, we all know, but make sure you instill upon the students that training and learning never ends, okay? Your focus shifts and you'll start training on different things, but the training and the learning never ends in shooting. All right, so I mentioned there was going to be multiple parts. Here we go with that. You're watching Series 1 overview right now. I've kind of gone over a few things. Part 2 is before they ever touch a gun, before they're at the range, you need to do at-home training, okay? There's certain things they got to know. There's very basic stuff that they got to know before they start handling that gun, all right? First shots, what do you need to do in order to lead up to those first shots, and what kind of weapon should it be, where should it be, those kind of things. Part 4, first competition. What should your first competition be? Okay, now we're talking about this solid base, right? You see how we're building upon things. Okay, we're getting into the competition now. What should that be? What does that look like? Part 5, progressing into other competitions. How do you step through this myriad of different competitions out there? All these acronyms and letters and IDPA and USPSA, and it gets to be alphabet soup. So how do we as parents and trainers advise our students and our children how to walk through those different competitions? All right. And part 6, I go over a couple options for budget-minded gear on how to make sure you don't waste money in preparing for all these different competitions, right? There's various methodologies on this. There's various schools of thought. I'll give you what worked for me because I have 6 kids and I can't afford to buy 17 different rigs for each kid. So I make decisions based on economy of gear, maybe not performance of gear. So I'll get you a couple options of what works for multiple different competitions and the minimal amount of gear you need. Okay, so that's what the series is going to involve. If you have any comments or input, go ahead and leave them down below. I will try to modify this and incorporate your suggestions as best I can. So if you have any input, go ahead and write down below this video. You can leave a comment, all right? I look forward to putting this together for you guys and showing a few things off. I hope you like it. I hope it's received well. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up too if you would. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of work into this, trying to figure out how exactly to go about this, and you know what makes me qualified to do this. But since I'm putting all these videos out of my kids and they seem to be doing things right, you know, I guess people want to know what I do, so I'll let you know. All right. So thanks for watching. I'll check you later.